in School of Information Technology and Engineering, VIT University, Velloor campus, Tamil Nadu. He received his PhD degree in computer science from Velloor Institute of Technology, Velloor, and his master's in engineering from College of Engineering, Anna University, Chennai. He has more than 20 years of experience in teaching and research. He has published more than 40 research papers in peer-reviewed and highly indexed international journals and conferences. He has edited many books and published 3 patents to his credit. He is serving as a reviewer for many reputed international journals. His research interests include machine learning, cloud security and privacy, fog computing, ad hoc networks, and big data. He is a member of IEEE and ASEAN. We are honored to have you here, sir. Welcome to the program. And it is all yours, sir. Over to you.
Thank you. I think I'm audible to you all.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Okay, thank you. So very good morning to one and all present here. Today, we will be discussing about ethics in research and publication. So that is a very important topic, especially and understand that many of you are doing this scholars. So as part of your curriculum itself, so there is a paper that is suggested by UGC. So this is an important paper, ethics in research and publication. Okay, so every one of us know, because we need to follow certain things in our personal life, especially while we are living in a society. So there are so many constraints that we should follow, and we should know what is good, what is bad. Okay, so and also you should know what is right and wrong. So that is actually ethics means. So there are certain things that you should follow in our life, or whatever be the activity that we are doing, and you should avoid certain bad things or certain wrong things. So that is the simple meaning of ethics. So ethics is applicable everywhere, even in our personal life, whatever be the activity that we should do. You have to understand what is good for what is good for the society, and if you are violating that, definitely you will be in trouble. Okay, so that will affect your personal life, that will affect your career, etc. So even research is one of the main activity that actually helps the society for advancement. And because many activities or many processes that you need to do in research and publication. So we have to understand the problem, and we have to collect the data, and we need to design the methodology. So in every aspect should be honest, and we should be showing the integrity. So that is the main point that we need to understand in research and publication. So as it is, ethics is equally important in our personal life or maybe in this society. Even in research and publication also, it is very important. So that is why it is suggested every research scholar to follow a course in ethics and ethics in publication research. And so we will be discussing about in general what is ethics in research, and this context, falsification, publication, and plagiarism. And ethics in publication, conflict of and or hijack or fake journals and publishers. And also finally, we will conclude with certain tips which you can avoid the ethical dilemmas. So that is our basic points of discussion for today. So when coming to the ethics, so it is actually derived from the Greek word ethos. So that actually means character or custom or habit. Okay. And as I told you, ethics actually different qualities of mind and character. So we will be knowing through our experiences what is good, what is wrong. Okay. So in simple words, ethics is a discipline concerned with what is morally good and bad, only right or. So it is actually defined as the systematic study of human actions from the point of their rightfulness or wrongfulness as means for the attainment of the ultimate happiness. So if you are following that, if you are following what is good, what is wrong for you, so you will definitely end up with the benefits of it. So otherwise, you will be losing so many things. So that is the importance of ethics. Now just see this picture. So that is the evolution of academia. So especially with respect to the research and publications. So many people of us are working in institutions, or maybe you may be doing your PhD, you may be research scholars. So you have a lot of pressure. Okay, so especially when we are thinking about a few years back, publishing papers was not mandatory. It has become a little more important for you, especially if you are working in institutions, research institutions. So publish or publish. Then after some time, recently, you will have to publish good quality papers. Okay, so that is in high impact journals. Others, you need
Excuse
to
me, sir.
increase the count also. Sorry.
Excuse me, sir. Your voice
Yes.
is breaking, sir.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
How about now? Now it is fine. Is it fine now?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Okay. I'm sorry for that.
Okay, sir.
So if there, please tell me. There is any problem? Shall I continue? Hello.
Yes, sir. Still, there is some problem with the voice. It is breaking.
It's breaking. Okay. I think it's fine. Okay, so my point was now currently we have a lot of pressure in publishing a large number of papers to the high impact writings. So if that is the case, you won't be paid sometimes. Okay, so that is the scenario. So there is a lot of pressure for the researchers. So researchers, they need to increase the number of publications in good quality, high impact journals. And when you talk about the researchers, so this is the case, and journals also. So journals also, they have to publish good quality papers, large number of papers to maintain their citation scores, especially the impact factor metric. And research institutions as well. So research institutions, especially for getting funding and getting talented researchers, they are also having a lot of pressure in publishing large number of publications. So actually speaking, all these pressure will lead to unethical practices. So unethical practices in the sense having shortcuts for getting your paper published, or especially when we talk about the researchers, they need to have large number of publications in quality publishing journals, and the journals itself, they need to increase the citation scores, and the research institutions, they get more visibility through getting more funding or maybe talented researchers. So this excessive pressure actually leads to unethical practices. So that means we are doing the things with the shortcuts. Okay, not as per the ethical practices. So you will do not only good things but also bad things or wrong things as well for getting your paper published. So these are the different consequences of this kind of pressure. So the integrity of the research will be compromised, and everybody will be thinking of getting citations, maybe especially the journals. So the citation obsession is there, and publication will be biased. And you will add so many authors. Okay, so for example, if I am writing a paper and I will be adding my friends, so they may not be having any contribution to my paper. So as a result, they will also help you. So they will also add your name. So there is no contribution. So that is again an unethical practice. And another thing is salami slicing. Salami slicing in the sense you may be writing a paper which is good enough for one paper. So then you work into different portions and you will try to publish multiple publications. Actually, it is only for one paper. So you will be dividing that into many slices. So each slice will be published as separate papers. So that is again the consequence of this pressure, because you need to have more number. So some histories. Actually, the research misconduct any, dozens of papers of other scientists, just simply copy pasting. That is what is known as plagiarism. So that was actually one incident. And also, I think you may be knowing about the Wangwu soup scandal that happened in 2005. So there was a scientist, especially he was focusing on the cloning science. So he became infamous because of violating this research ethics. Now, as I told you, why ethics is important in research. So as we discussed, ethics is important in our life, personal life, in society, etc. Ethics is also important in research as well. So the unethical practices, for maybe you may be following so many shortcuts in achieving some of the achievements, some of the pleasure or recognition. So that will actually harm the researcher, is not only harm researchers, but also lasting and wider implications on the researchers or maybe the people, those who are collaborating with you. So with a lot of unwanted consequences. So you have to always think about getting the answer for how should I behave as a researcher, or what are the characteristics or what character traits should I cultivate for becoming a good researcher. So always try to answer these questions. So this should be always there in your mind. Okay, how should I behave as a good researcher, or how should I how I can cultivate a good character traits which will help you to follow the ethics in our research. Is it okay? I'm audible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Anyone? Yeah. Okay. So as we are following so many principles in our personal life, even in research also, there are so many principles that we should follow. There is principles of research ethics. So as I told you, most of these principles that you should follow in your personal life as well. So you should be having the integrity and carefulness, and you should be honest, and objectivity should be there, and openness, legality. So legality in the sense you have to follow certain rules and laws as per the things are concerned, and you should be always having social responsibility also. So some of the ethical principles that everyone should do, everyone should follow, especially researchers. So honesty in the sense, because nowadays so many unethical practices are happening. So you may fabricate or falsify or misrepresent data, fabricate or falsify. Okay. So that is one unethical practice. And objectivity in the sense you strive to avoid bias in experimental challenge, data interpretation, and peer review process, personal decisions, etc. Okay, and integrity is another principle. So you have to act with sincerity. So keep your promises. Whatever you have as agreement, you have to follow that. So integrity, and also you have to avoid careless errors and negligence. So that again make problems. So you may not be knowing. So you are doing something wrong without caring. So carefulness is also a good principle that you should follow. And also openness. So you should be open to criticism. So if you are doing something wrong, you have to accept it. So you should be open. And one important point is respect for intellectual property. So you may be using the work done by somebody else. So you are making use of their work, especially, for example, the patents or copyrights. So they are generally known as the IPR, intellectual property. So you have to appreciate that. You have to give credit for others in your work and never do plagiarism. And also protect the confidential communication. So maybe that is the confidential. Follow the convention. So, maybe you may be a reviewer. So you may be getting papers prepared by somebody else. So you may be doing review you may be doing the review process. So you have to show the confidentiality from the others' work. And the other principle is responsible publication. Okay. So instead of going with the unwanted or wasteful publications, you have to always focus on publishing in reputed journals, quality ones. And there are so many other principles as a mentor. So you have to educate or mentor or advise your scholars, your students. So responsible mentoring and social responsibility. So as I told you, research is always for the advancement of in the society. So if you are doing wrong things, that will affect the society also. So you should be socially responsible. And also nowadays we are hearing so many bad news regarding the discrimination in research. Okay, so you should avoid discrimination against sex, race, or ethnicity, or other factors. And always do the things as per the law. As per the law. So the legality is another principle. And especially certain experiments, you may be using animal. So you have to respect and care for animals. And certain experiments, research, especially clinical practices, clinical experiments, medical experiments, may be using human. Okay, so human subjects protection also important. Let's go through this simple problem. Can anyone comment on this? What is the relevance of this cartoon in research? Okay, so I think you understood the idea behind this cartoon. So in first cartoon, your scholar is telling the superior that he got some research. Okay, so and the superior is telling he got only one fact. then what is the idea that is conveyed by the scholar? So even if it is simple, if you add with some masalas like the introduction and the illustrations and other conclusion, that will look like a paper, good paper. Okay, so that is again affect the quality. And what about the second one? So one question is being answered by one person. So one person is genuine, the other person or other people are copying. Okay, so they are making use of the person who is doing the things in a genuine manner. So that is again a problem in research, especially in publications. That is what is known as scientific misconduct. Scientific misconduct in the sense you are violating the standard codes of scholarly conduct and ethical behavior. I don't know whether they have noticed the first slide. So this particular logo. So most of the points that we are going to discuss are included here. So have you heard about the Nuremberg Code? So this Nuremberg Code actually gives a lot of guidelines, especially in conducting clinical research activities. Okay, so you have to get the informed consent of the human beings with the clinical research. So that was actually happened because of a unethical practice happened earlier clinical research. Okay, so our point. We are talking about the scientific misconduct. So that is violation of the standard rules that should follow by a researcher. So especially that comes under, the points which comes under scientific misconduct are fabrication and falsification and plagiarism. So what is falsification? So falsification in the sense manipulating the research materials or equipment or process or data give false impression of the research. Okay, so that is changing of research data to support claims. You may be having to fulfill that, you will give false data. So using the false data, you will try to attain the claims or hypothesis as per the hypothesis. That is falsification. So that is again not a genuine practice. So for that, you may be do some kind of manipulation in the research instrument or the materials that you are using. So whatever be the claim that you are doing in your research, accordingly you will manipulate your data, your materials, or maybe your instruments, or maybe even the process. That is what is falsification. And another problem in the research misconduct is fabrication. So you will fabricate your research. So that may not be the genuine one. So whatever you want to have, accordingly you will create. You will do it by yourself, not as per the genuine research. So your genuine result that you received as per the experiment may be different one, but to fulfill the criteria, you will fabricate the data. So you will construct your own data or your own research or observations or the characterization, so which never occur. Okay, that is fabrications. And the most relevant one is plagiarism. So it is very easy shortcut. So you may be getting your friends or maybe other person's data or idea or processes or maybe the methodologies or technique that is used by others without any change. Even the text content itself, you will just copy paste. So that is one kind of very important and very harmful practice that is happening nowadays in our research. That is plagiarism. So some of the common types of scientific misconduct. So we discussed about the publication, participation, and plagiarism. And other than that, we can have some more points in the scientific misconduct. That is misappropriation of ideas. So taking the intellectual property of others, that is a misappropriation of ideas. I already discussed about plagiarism. So plagiarism means taking somebody else's work, somebody else's ideas, somebody else's words, published work. So just use it is in your work, pretending that it is your work. That is plagiarism. Okay. So in plagiarism, you can have self-plagiarism as well. So you have done some work previously, and the same work is being repeated. So you will just reuse the previously work that is done by you, and you just make it as a new work. Okay. So without giving appropriate disclosure or citation. So even that is also an important problem. So even self-plagiarism. So because nothing one will be new there. So everything is already done by you. So you are just making use of your own work again, and you will just reuse it, recycling or reusing your own work. That is self-plagiarism. So self-plagiarism is also should be avoided. Okay. Then impropriety of authorship. Okay. Authorship in this, that is another problem I already mentioned. So when we do some research, there are different type of contributors. Okay, so some people will be doing majority of the thing, and you may be getting help from others as well. So claiming undeserved authorship on your own behalf, excluding the material contributors, because you may be excluding the other contributors. So that is one problem. And you will try to include non-contributors. So there can be many people, those who doesn't have any contribution for your work. So you will just try to add because of many reasons, because of many personal reasons. Okay. And you will try to submit multi-author papers to journal without the consents of the named authors. So because some co-authors that you are going to add in your paper may be helping indirectly for the publication, for the acceptance, because they may be having name. If you add name, the chances of getting it accepted may be more. So that is another reason. So you won't be informing that you are adding them in your paper. So you may not be informing them. So that is also should be avoided. And failure to comply the legislative and the regulatory requirements, the legal requirements. Then already discussed the falsification of data and failure to support validation of your research. So you may be refusing to supply the complete data set, because if somebody want to test whether you have done the work in a proper manner, so you won't disclose your data. So failure to support validation of your research. And so this plagiarism, as I told you, is an important problem. So is there any questions so far? If you have any question, you can ask me now. So far we discussed about the basic points with respect to ethics and what is the relevance of ethics in research. And also we discussed a few points about the research misconduct. Okay, and we are now going in detail about the plagiarism. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll continue. Okay, thank you. So this plagiarism. So normally, in most of the cases, the unethical practice, especially among researchers, or because plagiarism. So plagiarism, as I told you, just pretending the work as if it is done by you, but you will be making use of others' ideas, others' work. That is plagiarism. So using or representing the work of others as your own. So that is plagiarism. The point is that when we do that, you will have to cite, so that you have to accept that that is done by somebody else, and I am making use of their work in my pen. So you will have to cite that. So you will have to give credit to those papers or those contents or those ideas which you are going to use, which you have used in your pen. So that is what is known as citations. So you have to cite all the sources, and especially the citation or having footnotes, or maybe having acknowledgement in the credit section, contributor section. And we can have different type of plagiarism. So one is the direct plagiarism. So direct plagiarism means when you take another person's work completely and pass it off as your own without any changes. So that is simply copy pasting. That is what is the direct plagiarism. And another one is self plagiarism. So self plagiarism means you may be using your own work previously published or work in your new paper. It's a self plagiarism. So when you partially paraphrase the contents so that your paper is a mix of your sources of content as well as yeah. So you may be adding your own work as well. That is self plagiarism. Sometimes you may be paraphrasing the context. Okay, so without giving the credit to the original author. So paraphrasing means you just change the words with the without credit. And another one is mosaic plagiarism. Mosaic plagiarism means when you partially paraphrase the contents so that your paper is a mix of your source words and your words. So you be writing words as and you maybe plagiarism will happen accidentally. Okay, you may not be knowing, you may not be aware. So that is what is known as accidental plagiarism. So sometimes you may forget to include the citations as well. So that is a normal practice that is happening accidentally or accidental plagiarism. So how it is plagiarism. Plagiarism is also known as trans. You will have to withdraw the paper from that particular journal. So that is what is known as you have to be retraction. So that is what is retracted uh, papers. Okay, so and that will cause a lot of personal difficulties as well. So that will affect your career. When if you got your PhD published, so your will have two words. One is just research is actually some you will have to do research based on certain findings done by your other people, right? So it's very difficult for you to create something new in a way. Concepts and other assumptions and uh, based on that is all about if you are using expensive of the publisher or appropriate order, it's also important. And some standard
Excuse me, sir. Voice is breaking in between.
for any kind of segment, but it's just research. It's a Sujesh, hello.
Hello, sir. Sir,
Ah.
sometimes it gets breaking.
Okay. Really sorry for that. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's clear now. It's clear, sir.
There is I think about internet connection. I don't know what is. Okay. So we are actually talking about the ways by which you can avoid plagiarism. So as I told you, the normal standardized research, if you are making use of your paper insights, and also always try to avoid self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism also should be avoided. And even if you are using some tables or others that is by somebody else, you will have to get the copyright from that, from the publisher or the copyright holder. And always after writing your paper, you have to make sure that plagiarism is less. It's definitely there, and you can get it correct after getting plagiarism. So these are based on so usually do a paper. So you have to make sure that the similarity should be percentage. So 20% is fine, but depending on the journals in which you are going to paper, always make it sure this similarity is either 10 or below 10%. That is the safer side. So similarity index should be time capacity. And always students will be having a comprehensive way of checking the text. Free versions won't be giving you that result. So don't even know writing or plagiarism. Coming to the redundant publications. Or redundant or duplicate publications. That is the reference to the text and share the redundant publications. Language paper can be published in several languages, especially nowadays this kind of issues are there. So papers which are published in Chinese language, then they will be translated in English and pretending that it is a new paper, so that is being published in journals in English. So that is the same content only, same paper only, but in several different languages. Or maybe a reprint of a previously published scientific article. So that is another way of looking into the interpretation of maybe the redundant publication. Or sometimes the publication of a contribution to a transcript book. So generally, transcript in the sense volume of articles or essays, combination of articles, collection of articles. So that may be having less number of readers. So thinking that if you want to get more readers, you will be taking one article from that and you will try to publish the same article in a different scientific journal. That is again considered as duplicate or redundant publication, or maybe parallel publication in an open access repository. So you may be publishing a paper in a journal which is not open access. The same content will be published in another journal which is having open access policy. And I told you one problem with the research misconduct is the salami slicing and the selective reporting. Salami slicing in the sense you have a paper and which is good enough to have it as a single paper, one paper. Is worthy for having it as a single paper only, but you will be slicing it into different papers. So one meaningful paper will be converted into several different papers. That is what it is known as salami publication, salami slicing. So this slicing data from a single research process will be divided into groups. So for example, one paper you have done with the in a multidisciplinary area, for example. Okay, so one area maybe, for example, two disciplines. So the result is actually combined as a single paper. So you will be trying to publish that paper in one journal which deals with the first discipline, and the same paper is again published in another journal which deals with the second discipline. So actually you are slicing your work meat. So that is the concept of salami publication. So that all these things are actually done by the researchers or maybe the people for the count purpose. So you will be getting two or more publication for the same contents, for the same work. is what is known as the slicing of the publication. Then another problem is selective reporting. Selective reporting bias is when results from scientific research are deliberately maybe it may be wrong. So you will be coming out with the wrong results, but thinking that it is going to affect your paper, going to affect your expected output, you will be removing those results which you got it as wrong. Okay, so you will selectively reporting the results. So whichever are favorable to you, that alone will be taken. Whichever are not favorable to you, after doing the experiment, you want to consider. Actually, the result is combination of favorable as well as non-favorable things. So that is what you got, but you will be eliminating those, or you want to be considering those which are not favorable to you for the results. That is again a problem with the integrity. And some more example. So answering the same question with different data sets. So you will be doing some research, maybe a prediction problem. So you have the prediction algorithm. So you'll be using the prediction algorithm with the different data sets. So actually your core idea is same, but you will be trying with the different data set and you will make two different things. So that is again what we found. And just splitting up a data collected in the same system to answer different questions. That is what is data fragmentation, salami slice that we already discussed. And augmenting previously published data with a smaller data set. Okay, so which may not be able to stand on its. What are the implications of research misconduct? So as I told you, if you are doing something wrong, that is going to affect your personal life as well as society as well. So when you are doing research, you may be doing it collaboration with the other people also. So that will affect you, your collaborators, and your institute, and also the society. So many things are happening. So it will affect your career. So including those collaborators as well. So they may not be responsible actually, but their name is being added in your paper. So you have actually not followed the ethical practices. So because of that, you got some troubles. So that will affect them as well, even if they are not directly involved. And the reputation of the personal reputation as well as the reputation of the research institute will affect. And actually, it's a waste of time and effort or funds. So you may be getting a lot of fund from the institute, and you are doing a lot of falsification or fabrication in your research, and you are wasting your time, actually wasting your effort and funds as well. And this will actually misguide the future research also. Future research, for example, many of the researchers will be trying to refer your work. Okay. But if you are doing something wrong, they may not be knowing it initially. So their work may be focusing on or based on your work which is already published. So that will actually be a problem for the new researchers who are taking your paper or maybe your work as a reference. So that these are the implications of research misconduct. Now, coming to the publication ethics. So far, is there any doubt, anything to be discussed? Please let me know. So far we have discussed about the ethics in research and the research misconduct and the other problems associated with the research misconduct like the plagiarism and all. Now coming to the research another research activity, that is publication.
One
Just,
question, one question
sorry?
in comments. One question
Sorry?
in there is a question I publish in comments.
Yeah, I will try to answer.
Shall I read the question for you?
Yeah, I think I can read it. So does incremental paper with improvements on an idea come under plagiarism? On minimal improvements at 10%, novel idea and 90% already published. No, that won't come as plagiarism. So provided you have to cite it. Okay, so for example, you are actually taking an idea of somebody else, and you try to understand their way of implementation, the methodology that they have used, the technique that they have used, and you understood that there is a challenge, there is a limitation for the result, and you understood you can achieve a better result if you are applying some more technique with the existing one. And accordingly, you have defined your methodology based on the existing one. That is quite normal. Okay, that is quite normal. Only thing is that when you are doing that, you have to make sure that you won't be copying their content. And especially you will have to have their reference, you have to cite them. Don't forget to cite them, so that you are claiming that this is not completely done by you, and you have added some or you have enhanced something to the existing work. That is fine. Okay, so that is fine. That doesn't come under plagiarism. I think that has been asked by Manoj. Is it clear, Manoj?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Okay. So that is not a plagiarism. So even if you are enhancing something which is already existing, as anyway your contribution is there. Okay, so only thing is that you should be having your own contribution. Don't simply copy the content of others or copy the idea of others. Just try to enhance something. Even if it is 1% enhancement is there, that is your own contribution. So that contribution will be definitely appreciated. Only thing is that don't copy the content as it is. Okay, and if you are taking the work done by others, you will have to cite them. You will have to mention. If it is a published work, you will have to add the particular published work in the reference, and that should be cited in the content section. Okay, I think that is clear. Now, coming to the publication ethics. So again, another cartoon. So there is a researcher. So the researcher tried to do the research, and he got finally the result. And he's having a mentor. Okay, so he's having a mentor, maybe a supervisor. So he will just try to add him or maybe supervisor in his paper. Okay, but the supervisor, what he is thinking, the supervisor person has not done anything, right, for the researcher. But as a normal courtesy, and also it is required for the researcher, right? So if you are doing PhD, you will have to add the grade name. So otherwise, that won't be considered as the researcher. So accordingly, you have added, the researcher has added the supervisor. Supervisor will be thinking that he has not done anything, okay, to support, but still he is being added as per the practice. No, but actually there are so many other contributors, and the researcher will not be appreciating or maybe won't be giving any acknowledgement or credit to them. So finally, the other contributors, especially the data generator or maybe other contributors, their names are not included. So the only credit is taken by the researcher and the supervisor. So that is again not as per the ethics. You will have to give credit and acknowledge all the contributors. That is the essence, or that is the idea behind this topic. That is actually nothing but the publication. ethics. So, ethical standards for publication. So, especially that is required for ensure the high quality of scientific publication and the public trust in the scientific findings, and that people receive credit for their ideas. So, if you are taking the help from others, if others are being contributing to your research, you will always acknowledge their names or maybe their contribution. Always appreciate that. And especially why we are adding our names, because or maybe other names. So actually it's a recognition for us, right? So if we are doing something new, if you are maybe if others are helping you, so they also want to get appreciation. They also want to get recognition or acknowledgement. So always you will have to appreciate or add the names of the contributors, because it's a recognition for them as well. And sometimes there are other problems in research as well. That is what is known as conflicts of interest. Especially to give a simple example, because people are examples. Okay, so sometimes we may be getting a request from university or other universities to set a question paper for a course. So there is one clause there. If you have any conflict of interest, you can withdraw that. I mean that particular request. So no need of accept that. So you can withdraw. Especially suppose if my relatives, maybe my relatives or friends are actually going to write the examination, or maybe my children are going to write the examination. So there is a conflict of interest. So as a father or as a parent or as a relative, so I may influence the question paper. So that is not a particular ethical practice. So I can withdraw my acceptance. So I need not do the question paper setting. So because of conflict of interest. So there are two contradictory interests. So as a question paper setter, I have certain interests, but at the same time, there are my own relatives also are writing the examination. So that will I can I mean maybe there are I can have different conflicts in the examination papers, question paper settings. So I have to withdraw them. So like that in research also, because research is a collaborative work. For example, when you write a paper, so you will be sending it to a journal, and the journal will be sending your paper to different reviewers. So suppose if I know the author and I am the reviewer, okay, so my decision will affect, will influence the acceptance or the rejection. So what should I do as a reviewer? I should not accept that, because I should not accept a review of the paper whose, maybe my scholar, maybe my student, those who want to be. I should not do that. So that is because of conflict of interest. So a conflict of interest exists when two or more contradictory interests relate to an activity by an individual or institution. So reviewing process is an activity, or maybe as I told you, the examination question paper setting, that is an activity. So two interests will be there. So which are conflicting or maybe contradictory. So there are many aspects, maybe financial aspects will be there, maybe other personal consideration will be there. So you should not compromise. That is what is the conflict of interest, CO. And this already we discussed. Common publication misconduct, plagiarism, fabrication, falsification, and inappropriate authorship, and overlapping publications. So publishing a paper overlaps substantially with the one already published, and the salami publication. So these are common publication misconduct. And as I told you, the contributors. Okay, so the contributors may be other co-authors, or maybe your supervisor, or maybe the people those who support you in giving the data or the data set or maybe funding. Okay, so in different ways, there are different type of contributors for your work. So it can be intellectual contributors, those who give the idea, or those who help you in writing, or those who help you in executing the experiments, the practical aspect, maybe conducting the data analysis. And some contributors may be giving you the fund for the experiments or maybe the other things. So intellectual, practical, and financial contributors should be there. So everybody should be duly acknowledged in your work. Even if you are going to publish a paper or whatever it is, you should acknowledge the contributors. And there are different type of authorships as you know. Okay, so maybe you're writing a paper and you can add a co-author as a gift authorship. So gift authorship in the sense, maybe for example, you may be having a senior professor. So to whom you are actually dependent on for many aspects. Okay, so you will add their names as a gift authorship. And sometimes you will force to add authors because of certain positions, maybe your dean or maybe the head of the department. So they may not be having any contribution, but they will indirectly force you to add their names. That is what is known as pressured authorship. So these people doesn't have any role or any contribution in your research. So all these things should be avoided. And as I told you earlier, there are ghost authorship. Ghost authorship in the sense, you will be denying the authorship of individuals. So they may be having a lot of contribution, but because of obvious reasons, you will not appreciate or you will not acknowledge these authors. So that is what is known as ghost authorship. Okay. So all these things, gift authorship, pressured authorship, or maybe ghost authorship, everything actually happening nowadays. Okay. So to be frank, it is happening nowadays because of many reasons. So maybe to get a promotion or to maybe to get appreciation, because it's a social problem. So all these things should be avoided. Okay. So the credit, what are the credit or what are the contribution, that should be credit. So either it has a authorship or in the acknowledgement section. So the credit or contribution. So as you all know, there are different types of authorships. If you're writing a paper, so you will be the first author. So first author or the lead author. So you will be having more contribution. Hello. Any question? Somebody ask something? Okay. So lead author in the sense, the researcher who contributed significantly to the work. So that usually will be the first author. That is, if you are writing a paper or if you are doing a research, so you will have the contribution percentage more. And some people will be helping you, like giving you the idea or maybe other kind of contributions. So they have to be considered as co-authors. And corresponding authorship in the sense, apart from the lead author and the co-authors, when you communicate with a particular journal, so the author who is responsible for the communication with the journal before and after publication, that is the corresponding. And in the contribution section, so you will have to add the contributors also, maybe those who are giving you funds, the funding agencies, or other type of, maybe those who provide data. So that these are generally known as contributors. So in the contributor section, you will have to acknowledge them also. So the lead author or maybe the first author generally, and there can be many co-authors, those who contribute significantly for your research, and there can be corresponding author. So sometimes the corresponding author and the first author can be the same. If there is no corresponding author, that is also fine. So corresponding author who will be taking care about the communication with the journals before and after publication, and the contributors, other contributors, funding agencies as well. And another problem is citation manipulation. What is the citation? So citation in the sense, if you are writing a paper, you will be taking somebody else's contents. Okay, so that means if you are doing that, you will have to cite them in your paper. That is what is citation. So if you do that, if your paper is being cited by somebody else, that is an advantage for you. Okay, so when the number of citations increases, that will affect your H index and all. Okay, so H index is actually considered as the metric for a research. Okay, those who are having a good H index or good citation, that will directly improve their H index value as a individual research. Okay, so the citation manipulation also comes there, because I need to always get advantage, right? So that is what we are doing, these kind of shortcuts. So citation, if you are having so many citations, then definitely it will help you. It will help you in achieving a good metric in your research. Okay, so we can do it in a normal way, genuinely, or you can do it by doing some kind of malpractices or bad practices. Okay, that is the manipulations. So that is done by the researcher also. So researchers, they will do some kind of manipulation. So they will ask other researchers to cite your paper with the they will request, or they will use some kind of incentives or something, or they will do it mutually. So if you are adding my paper, I will add your paper. So like that, even though there is no relevance. Okay, so you may be simply adding somebody else's paper which doesn't have any contribution, which doesn't have any relevance in your work. So simply you are just adding the paper of others. Okay, so to give them citation. So that is the researcher point of view. And reviewers also, that is again a bad practice nowadays. So if you send a paper and the paper will be given for review, and when the reviewer comments are given to you, so sometimes some reviewers, they will directly or indirectly will ask you to add their papers in your paper. So that is actually indirectly they are telling you to include their thing. Or maybe some reviewers, they will give a list of publications that you have to add in your reference section, and you need to cite them in your content. So sometimes it may not be having any relevance or any relation with your work. So that is also happening. So the reviewers, they want to get more citation for their paper. So indirectly they are blackmailing you. Indirectly they are blackmailing the researcher. Otherwise, they will be giving bad comments. So they will not accept your paper. So that is again another problem is happening nowadays. And with respect to the publishers in the journal publishers, they are focusing on getting more impact factor. So that is, for that they will also do the citation manipulations. So impact factor in the sense, if a journal is getting more citations for the articles which are published in their journal, that is what is measure of the impact factor. So impact factor normally takes for 2 years. Okay, for example, if it is 2020, then 2018 and 19 published papers, published articles which are given citation by other publishers or other papers, which is actually considered as the impact factor for that particular journal. So for getting high impact factor, then lot of papers or lot of articles which are published by that particular journal should have more number of citations. So then only they will be getting more increased value in the impact factor. So for that also they will mutually collaborate. So maybe for example, two publication agencies or maybe two journals, they will mutually try to increase their impact by these kind of unethical practices. So all these things are actually happening actually affecting the ethical practices, violating the publication ethics. Now, coming to the best practices in academic research. So most of the points that we discussed, all the points we discussed till now are valuable points, valid points which you need to follow. And also you will have to know and observe the applicable regulations or the law or the guidelines which are given by the institutions, which are given in the state, UGC, etc. So nowadays UGC has given a lot of guidelines, especially in the ethics, with the research and publication. Okay. And also everybody should understand their roles and responsibilities, and also there should be you all should be or we all should be follow the protocols. And apart from these, there are so many committees, so many agencies, okay, like OP and WAMI, then ICEM, JE, like that, so many organizations are there. So these organizations are nothing but they are a group of editors. Okay, so many journals are there, so many publishing agencies are there, and all of them are having editors. So they usually have a committee. The COP is actually known as Committee on Publication Ethics. It's a non-profit organization whose mission is to define best practices in the ethics of scholarly publishing. So actually, it consists of different editors and publishers. Okay, so they will also monitor the activities in the research. They will have a lot of guidelines, and we all have to follow the guidelines. So that is one agency, one organization, like World Association of Medical Editors, especially in the area of medical research. It's known as WAMI. And also ICMJE, International Committee of Medical Journal Editors. So these are some of the agencies or some of the organizations, a group of editors who will take care about setting up guidelines, monitoring the process. If something is going wrong in their journals, they already have the guidelines and they have the SOPs, the standard procedures that is to be followed if there is a violation. So like that, so many initiatives are there already. Many more consortium or many more committees are there. Now we are coming to the last topic, is about the predatory journals and publishers. Predatory publication in the sense, actually as a researcher, as a research scholar, we always want to publish our paper in good and reputed journal with good quality. Okay. And these journals, or these publishing journals, they will pretend that they have everything, as we discussed till now. Okay. So they have the quality, they will pretend that they have the impact factor, they will pretend that they have so many good practices, but nothing wrong with that. So their aim is to get money. So they will pretend that they are good journals, reputed journals, having they will be having some bogus values for the research metrics. They may be simply claiming that they have this much impact factor, etc. So they will do some kind of scamming, and they will send you messages stating that maybe fake call for papers. Then you may be thinking that it is a good journal and you will try to publish. So they will claim that they will be publishing with a shorter span of time. So maybe if you within 24 hours, maybe within 1 week. And once you submit your paper, immediately that will be accepted. Okay. So these organizations or these predatory journals are actually for the profit, for making money. So this statistics about the predatory journals. So you can see that the number of predatory publishing journals are increasing. So this is actually a little bit early years, 17. So now the number has been increased. So you can see that the global distribution of predatory publications, especially you can see it is more in India. Okay, so the large number of predatory journals are there in India. So you may not be knowing whether you are submitting a paper to a predatory journal or not. Okay, so once it is published, then you will be facing, you are going to face problems. Okay, so it is actually increasing. So most of the authors in the predatory journals, more than 70% of the authors are from Asia and Africa. Okay, so we have to make sure that if you are not submitting your valuable work, okay, for your papers to a predatory journal. And sometimes, other than the predatory journals, there are other journals which they will be pretending that it's a genuine journal. So they are known as hijacked journals or fake journals. They will have a website having the same look and feel of original. Okay, so we may not be knowing. So, but their address, the URL will be different. So we may not be knowing. So everything will be saying the page, website, the web pages, everything will be saying as if it is the original. So you will try to submit your paper. So then again you will be funded. So predatory journals as well as fake journals or hijacked journals. So predatory in the sense they are not hijacked. Sorry. Any questions? Okay. So the problem with the predatory journals. So once you have done a lot of research and you have prepared a paper, it took a lot of time, and unknowingly you submitted a paper to a predatory journal. Okay, and later you understood that it is a predatory journal, that such predatory journals, especially if they're doing research, maybe PhD, that would be considered as a valuable publication. So that will not count for your PhD work, or even that will not count for you, even if it is not PhD work also. So you won't be getting any advantage, rather you are getting a lot of difficulties. So the problem is that once you understood that you have submitted a paper and it is being accepted, now it is online. Online it is available. So later, if you understood that it is not worthy, it is a predatory journal, and you have to withdraw this paper and you have to submit to another good journal, then the problem comes. So the predatory journal people, they will ask you money. So for the withdrawal. So there also they will be asking money, because the point is that once the paper is there online, you cannot submit to any other journal, because when you check the plagiarism, it will show 100% similarity. So because of that reason, your valuable work is useless, right? It won't be useful for you. So even the publication, they will be asking you money, and if you want to withdraw, once you identify it is a predatory journal which doesn't count, which doesn't give you any advantage, rather than advantage you will be getting troubles. Okay. So at the point of withdrawal time, they will be asking you. So that is the important point nowadays you have to take up. And I told you about the hijacked and fake journals. So hijacked and fake journals are journals or websites which they pretend it is the genuine one. And actually, this problem happened, especially some journals, as you know, they were not having the website, maybe the online version. So they were having only print version. So initially, some cybercrime criminals, they have created the website for the print-only journals. So people thought that it is a genuine journal. So as you know, nowadays the print publication, maybe the paper would be in the printed version as well as online version is available. But earlier that was not the case in initial times. So when the internet became popular and all, so these cyber criminals actually created the website of print-only journals. People try to submit papers, and these people got money. So that is the hijacked journals, so fake journals. So it will look like a legitimate academic journal, but they may be having some bogus website, or maybe the website will be manipulated upon. Okay, so that is set by certain cyber criminals or malicious third parties. So how do these hijacked journals attract all this? As I told you, they will get the email address. So especially when you submit a paper, when the paper is being published, especially conferences, they will be collecting the email addresses and they will send fake bots or papers to your email address. This is just a scam. So they will just create a page like this and you will be submitting. So actually a genuine journal is there, but the URL and everything is different. So you will feel that, so this is the ISS number and it's having some impact like this. And you will try to submit the papers. What page example? So first journal is there. So if you go to this particular website, you will feel that it is the genuine website and you will try to submit the papers. So you can identify that the DOI for all the published issues will be invalid. So already certain papers will be published. So once you check the DOI, the digital URL, so that won't be valid one. And there can be some formatting issues, spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes. So because this actually gen data is being published by them after getting money. And also you can see it's an official communication sent by the UGC in 2019. Because UGC, as you know, the UGC will always update the UGC suggested journals. So you have to make sure that you will be submitting to journals which are listed in the UGC list of journals. So every year, UGC will be updating this list. So what is the communication? So the communication is that there is a fake website. Is fake. There is a fake website which is actually pretending that it is the UGC website, where they have given the list of publications. Actually, in the genuine website, the list of updated UGC approved journals are there. And in the fake website, there is again the list of journals. And in that particular journal list, you can see the fake journals as well. So genuine researcher will be thinking that this is actually the genuine website of UGC and this is the genuine list of publication that which is supported by UGC. So people will try to send papers to them. So the point is that UGC won't be responsible. That is the content of the message. Okay. So like that, so many issues are happening. So as a researcher, as a writer, maybe author, you will have to make sure that you are submitting your hard-earned research work to a genuine journal. So these are some of the characteristics of the predatory journals. So easy acceptance and guaranteed acceptance. Definitely that will be accepted. So by paying it. And there won't be reviews at all, or sometimes weak reviews will be there. So within 2 days or within 1 day, the review will be done. And generally, we all will be submitting to the submitting system. So every journal will be having their own submitting system. Okay. So, but this case, you'll be sending your paper by email. So they will be asking you to send your paper your email. So nowadays, all the reputed journals, journal publication system, they have a submission system. Yeah. So this kind of website, they target others, not the readers, right? So others in the sense they can get money. And any paper which is sent will be accepted. There won't be a scope because generally every journal will be coming under different scope, okay, in different subdomain, etc. So here every type of paper, every domain will be accepted, and there won't be any editorial board or maybe fake editorial board. And previous papers which are published will be having low quality, which won't be having any valid DOI, and maybe having a lot of grammatic mistakes. There is novelty, copy-paste contents, everything. So these are some of the characteristics of predatory journals. And the journal metrics, the impact factor, etc., will be bogus. It will be false information. And we can have the open access publishing as well. So I'm not going into the depth. So there are different ways in publishing papers. There are so many good journals which offer your publication in open access. Open access in the sense you may have to pay some article processing fee because generally other journals they will be getting a subscription from the readers. So this kind of open access publishing journals, they won't be getting any subscription because it is open to what. So anybody can read, download, copy, distribute, anything can be done. So to maintain their charges and all, you may have to give an APC, application processing charge. But there are so many journals which are open access, IEEE access, so many journals are there. Now, as a researcher, you will have to submit your paper to a genuine publishing agency or to a genuine journal. So depending on your scope, depending on your domain, you can easily find out the appropriate journals in which you can submit. So there are so many journal finder tools which is provided by Elsevier, then Taylor and Francis, then JN Journal Finder. So many tools are available on the internet. So just go through that, and depending on your domain, your area, you can easily find out the valid as well as valuable as well as genuine journals in which you can submit your papers. So there are so many journal finding tools like which is provided by Elsevier, then Wiley, then Springer, IEEE, Jane, etc. So if you search, you will be getting results like this. So, and you can choose, you will be getting the different data about each of the journals. Okay, how many, how much time it will for the publication, what is the percentage of acceptance, all these metrics will be available, and accordingly you can make a decision. Now, coming to the last point. So, till now we have discussed about the ethics and different problems, unethical practices, and right. Now, as a researcher or as an education institution or a research institution or as a reviewer, because there are different stakeholders in this system, in the research and publication system. So maybe the academic institutions, researchers or students, and funders, and the journal, or maybe the journal publishing houses, then regulatory agencies are that earlier. Okay, so everybody is having their own responsibilities. So if everybody, all are doing their own responsibilities properly, definitely you can avoid this kind of unethical practices. Okay, so as a stakeholder, publisher's responsibility. So as a publisher, what are their responsibilities? So they will have to guardianship is scholarly record and safeguarding the editorial independence and collaborating to set industry practices and providing editors with the technical and legal support, because editors should be getting technical and legal support. Then only they can maintain or they can enforce these best practices and educating the researchers on publishing and ethics. So you can just go through any publishing house like Elsevier, Springer, etc. You can just download the best practices that they follow. Okay, so you can just download the ethical practices that they are following. You can just get it. Similarly, the editors' responsibilities. So they have to have their own responsibility, like fair play, peer review process, and publication decisions. You should not be biased, right? For this, depending on the quality, it has to be set. The acceptance or rejection. And declaration of a competing interest, conflict of interest, and vigilance over the published reports, and not tampering with the journal matrices. Then, as a reviewer, because one problem already told you, so some reviewers will be asking you to add their publish the work in your paper. So reviewer's responsibility, ability to contribute significantly to the editorial decision. Because if your paper is being reviewed by a reviewer, so you will have to get a good comment or maybe a helpful comment so that you can enhance your paper rather than simply giving statements. So a thorough, complete and concrete review should be given by other people so that the quality and the content of the paper can be improved or enhanced. And maintaining the confidentiality. Okay, so because as a reviewer, I am getting unpublished paper, unpublished content which is done by a researcher. So I have to always appreciate that, or always have to maintain the confidentiality of that, which is because the paper is not at all published. So I have to, or maybe as a reviewer, they have to maintain the confidentiality, and also always think about the ethical issues, and always try to maintain the standards, objectivity, and competing interest. Now, this is very important. That is us both, because the process is actually starting from that author's responsibility. So all these things which we have discussed so far should be followed by the authors. Okay, so we can just go to these points. Strictly follow the authorship guidelines, because every journal will be giving the authorship guidelines depending on the constraints, depending on the policies, and always maintain the originality. And as I told you, acknowledge all the sources, all the contributors, and we take the clinical trial transparency, because certain experiments may occur, especially in the medical journals, medical research area. Then declare your competing interest. So like that, there are so many responsibilities that an author should follow. And as an author, so before submitting your paper, you should follow certain checklist. So these are the points that you should do before submission. So the work is original and not plagiarized. That is the important one. So before submission, you have to ensure that the work is original and it doesn't have any plagiarism. And if you have not submitted this article to any other journal, because simultaneous submission is not a good practice. So sometimes you may be in a hurry and you want to get the result, maybe the acceptance or the rejection status at the earliest. So thinking that you will be submitting your paper to multiple journals. So that should be avoided. Okay, so every journal will be having its own time. It will take some time. So you should be showing the patience. Once it is accepted or rejected, if it is rejected, after getting that, you can try with another journal. So don't submit the same journal to multiple, the same paper to multiple journals, simultaneous submission. And you have obtained all the necessary permission, because if you are using others' work, maybe even if it is simple figures or data also, you should obtain the permissions from the copyright permission, whatever it is, from the sources. So, and also make sure that there is no conflict of interest or any of this, because it's a collaborative, if it is a collaborative work, you have to make sure this point as well. And as I told you, get all the required approvals before the submissions. Using some sensitive and confidential data. Okay, so if it is a clinical so where human subjects are involved, so you have to get the consent from the consent. So like that, you have to get all the approvals. And finally, some tips for the researchers. So first, you should know the rules that you follow, and also always try to learn from others' mistakes, because mistakes may happen. So once you come to know about the mistake from others, you should not repeat it. And always take steps to avoid solve the conflicts amicably. Not make a promise. Always try to settle the conflicts in an amicable manner. And also always try to know your rights and responsibilities, and accordingly you behave. And learn to recognize the most common ethical mistakes. You have to appreciate the mistakes may happen, so you have to appreciate that, you have to understand that, and you have to try to correct that. And these are the general strategies for research integrity. So like the transparency and the operational rigorousness in every research process and adequate supervision. And also we should follow certain policies, academic research policies. And to conclude our discussion today, we have started our discussion by finding what is ethics, what is the role of ethics, especially all of you are aware the ethics are a lot of importance in our personal life. So similarly, what will be the activity that we are doing, the ethics we have to follow, certain ethics you have to follow. And this ethics is nothing but what is to be followed, what is to be avoided. So what is good, that should be accepted, that should be followed. What is bad, what is not right, that should be avoided. And we discussed about the different practices, different ethical, non-ethical or unethical practices that is happening in the research as well as publications. And what are the different ways by which you can address these kind of issues so that you can follow a good ethical practice even in your research and publications. So these are the references, as I told you. I have taken so many concepts from different sources. So I have cited this in the reference section because most of the things are done by others. So as a practice, we have to appreciate and acknowledge the credit to others. So I have included the section. I have used these references for creating this. Thank you. If you have any questions, can ask me. I think I have not bored you. So this topic is actually a study topic or a course for the research and all the researchers, all the research PhD scholars. So this may be relevant to you, especially those who are doing research now as part of the coursework, and other researchers as well. This playing an important role, which will help you to follow the ethical practices. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. We have come to the end of the sessions, and now it's a time for the participants to raise your queries. We can unmute and directly ask, or just put the query in the chat box. Participants can clear your queries if any.
I think there is no query,
Yes, sir. There is a question in the chat box. If there is some credentials needed for journal access, not open access, what we can do about it?
If there is some credentials needed for journal access. Journal access in the sense what it is accessing the journal? Because generally journals which are not open access, you should be having the subscription, otherwise you need to get a username and password and you have to subscribe, you have to pay. So that is one area where you can make use of open access, because you can access the data and access the papers without any problem. That is why they are asking you the APC, application processing charge, because they are getting revenue in that way only. The other type of journals which require subscription, they are getting the fee and all through the subscription, so that they can maintain the journal. So that is what I understood after the question. So some kind of, especially sometimes your institution may be having the access, so you can use that if you work in a university or other institutions. So you can get those journals subscribed through the institution. Otherwise, you would have to personally get that. Only thing is that suppose if you are interested to know in some area, these journals which are having this subscription, you will be able to get the title and you will be able to know the abstract. So through the abstract, you will be able to know whether it is working. And if it is working, then you have to get it. I think I have answered.
Any other queries?
So if you have any further queries, you are most welcome to contact me. My
Yes,
email
sir.
ID is given.
There is another question out there. Conceptual paper or core research paper is better for researcher to publish initially in a journal?
Whatever it is, the quality of the paper and also the scope of the journal. So before submission, you don't worry about the conceptual paper or maybe core research paper or whatever it is. So first of all, the important thing in research is identifying a journal based on the scope. So you may be in a particular domain, you may be focusing on a particular problem, and your area and the journal area, the scope should be. So that is what we need to understand next. Any type of paper, don't worry about the type of paper. So if the scope is matching, then they will do the review, and as per the review comments and all, sometimes the paper may be accepted or maybe accepted with a minor or major revision. And accordingly, if normally if the paper is not coming under the scope of the journal, immediately they will reject it. So that is the main reason for immediate rejection. And the other type of rejection normally, once it is going through the review process, after that only it may be rejected. So the first point you need to think about before submitting your paper to a journal is just try to match the scope. Any type of paper is okay. And by doing your research, actually, you can easily find out the acceptance ratio of different journals through these journal finder tools. You can get all the details about the number of papers accepted, or maybe percentage of paper acceptance, and how much time it will take for the decision. Okay. So after you submit the paper, how much time it will be, 1 month, 1 week, how many weeks. So like that, you will be getting some idea. And after that, you take a decision to submit to that particular journal. And always be patient. I think I have answered to that.
Yes, sir. I think the questions are done. So if no more queries are, we can wind up the session. So today we had a very informative session on ethics in research and publication, and I'm sure that the session will help all the researchers in dealing with the ethical aspects of their publications. On behalf of PISAT Department of Computer Applications and the participants joined here, I thank you, sir, for such a useful session. Thank you so much, sir. Your voice and knowledge of this field is immense, and it is a great honor to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So the participants, don't forget to fill the feedback form before leaving. And with this note, we come to the end of the 5-day faculty development program on advanced research and quality publications organized by Department of Computer Applications, PISAT. I would like to take this opportunity to thank PISAT management, department head, program coordinators, faculty members, and all the 290 participants for their active participation in this program. Hope this program ignited your thoughts and reloaded your knowledge in the area of research. So thank you. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you, sir. Thank you for being here.